2 machetes, and 8 BB refill cartridges were retrieved from the suspect's unregistered Honda CR-V vehicle. Other items retrieved from the suspects include 2 live refilled BB cartridges and 1 unregistered motorbike. On 1st of April 2023, while investigations were ongoing to get the remaining suspects arrested, the attention of the police was drawn to a video footage in which the said police personnel, members of the Axim patrol team, are pleading with members of the gang, while the gang is alleging extortion by the police officers. Allegation of extortion against the police officers has been referred to the Police Professional Standards Bureau for investigation. All suspects in the reported attack on the patrol team who had been arrested have been put before court and have been remanded in custody. Efforts are continuing to get the remaining suspects arrested. Signed, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Director of Public Affairs, Grace Ansa Akrofi. So that's the development on that video that you saw and it's been trending over the weekend. My guests will have their bite of this. Professor Daniel Bruce is a clinical psychologist and a lecturer as well. And Dr. Anani Jinde is also a lecturer, a corporate governance expert, a journalist, and a lawyer. And so I will start by saying good morning to both of you. And then I'll start the conversations with Dr. Jinde. What do you make of that video that you saw? And what are your feelings on the action of the police to get to the bottom of the matter?
Yeah, thank you very much, Kafui. And very good morning to your viewers all over the world. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of fans
Thank you.
From here to America, so a lot of people watch.
We're global.
And let me also say good morning to my people back home at Kintampo.
Yes,
and my mother's place, Bamboy,
so.
The famous Bamboy.
You know me small.
So, Kafui, my first reaction was some level of disappointment. I was really disappointed because if you look at the venue where this thing took place, it means it is a Galamsey site, I presume. So I think the police officer went there. In the first place, his going there, was it sanctioned by the police command? Was it an operation that was sanctioned by the higher officers or not? And from the narrative that he was shouting himself, "You are my man, you are my," it means there's some familiarity there. After which he was also accused of taking monies from them. So you see, if you are an official, the moment you take money from whoever is involved, you've compromised your neutrality and your authority. So that was why they had the audacity to tell him that, well, with giving you money, what else? So all this goes to highlight the importance of public officers living above reproach and acting with integrity. But on the other side, he was very smart. You know, looking at the danger he found himself. If he had resisted, if he tried to play the macho, I think he would have been something else now. So he was smart. At least he's alive to help out with investigations to get to the bottom of this. But I think that the fight against Galamsey, I think we are trying our best, but our best is not good enough. And one danger about this Galamsey culture is that the moment they come to a place, the moment they begin to operate in that particular place, you see violence going up. They become radicalized. And they become armed, which is a national security threat. So Galamsey is not enough to stop the Galamsey, but the aftermath, the consequences of Galamsey, the security threat, the radicalization of our youth. That is where my concern is. And the matter has also been referred to the Police Professional Standards Bureau. I hope they do a good job. But my experience with them, especially their office in Accra, has not been very pleasant and very impressive. I had a case and I had to go there. And the way they were behaving, it appears it's because the matter involves one of them. They did not take me serious here in Accra. So if that is the way they are still behaving, I hope they've changed now. If that's the way they are still behaving, what I saw last year, then I don't think this will end anywhere. But I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now we have a new regime. I hope the right things will be done. But if what I experienced last year, at the police, at their office in Kokomlemle here, if that is the way they behave, then this thing will go nowhere. From my personal experience. But I think let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's see to it that the right thing is done. Investigations are still going on, so it will not be proper for us to start passing judgment before the investigation comes out. And I also expect the police administration, whatever level their investigation takes them to, they should let the people know. Because we are all interested in knowing how the outcome will be, so that we can all learn some important lessons from it. So these are my initial comments on this matter.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jinde. Professor Bruce,
Yeah.
Put your psychologist hat on. What would make somebody who is obviously... Why would you record this stuff and then have it shared? I mean, I'm assuming that the people who recorded this business were not police officers. They were probably members of the gang. And
Yeah. I think they also want to show that they are on top.
on top of the police.
Yeah, they have overpowered the police. So they have the territory to themselves, and they should have asked them permission before coming. That is what they have shown. You see, the police did not exhibit the highest standard of professionalism demanded of them. That's why you see what happened. The people you are dealing with, excuse me to say, if you should run definition of intelligence on them, you know that there are people we classify as people suffering from acquired mental retardation. Because of that, they cannot act purposefully. They cannot think rationally, and they cannot deal effectively with their environment. If you are engaging in an act, you know very well that the law is against it, and yet you do it. It means there's something questionable about your intelligence. And so those people, once they are exhibiting the characteristics of acquired mental retardation, they will do whatever they want to do to show that, yes, we can also be there to be recognized. That is what is happening. So if people who cannot think rationally, first to know that what we are doing is against the law, you must be very tactful and highly professional in dealing with those people. You don't just go into their hands. Look at what they are doing. When they were collecting, they were happy, and they recorded that and showing it to the public. They want to show that the police don't have respect for you again. For them, they stand to lose anything, nothing. So the whole psychology behind is that you are dealing with people who are exhibiting characteristics of sub-average intelligence. And those characteristics, you see it among them. So if you are dealing with such people, you must be very careful. For them, they are already on the ground. They will drag you to the ground to know that we are all equal. They care less the consequences. That's all. And the police, you see, they must exhibit the highest form of professionalism and keep to their game and the standard. There's a difference between the Ghana police and their counterpart, the gendarmes in the French countries. A policeman will stop a vehicle now. He, the policeman, will have to walk to the driver sitting behind the wheel, private or public or commercial. But when you go to Togo, just our neighbors here, or Côte d'Ivoire, when you see a gendarme blow the police, he will sit down there. It is you, the driver, or whoever seems to be offending in a way, who have to come and explain yourself. But if you're a policeman, you have reduced yourself to a standard. I am rather interested in taking something from you than allowing the law to be applied to you. You go to what we are seeing right now. So the police, they must be up their game. I'm happy they have identified this as a matter of professionalism. So they must apply the professional ethics to the highest level. And we don't see these things again. It's a disgrace to all of us that our policeman, who we all have confidence in that in case of trouble you will protect us, kneeling down and begging these people. No. The police, they must up their game.
There's a verse in the Bible, I think it's in Proverbs, that says, no, it's not, it's in Ecclesiastes, a live dog is better than a dead lion.
Yeah.
I mean, that man begging for his life, it was the smart thing to do, right?
Yeah, it's the smartest thing to do. He thought that, no, my life was in danger. So let me surrender to their will. by raising their self-esteem that, oh, even a policeman is begging us. He applies psychology on them. So he's begging us, so let's leave him. If he hadn't done that, they will have finished him. So the best thing to do is to raise somebody's self-esteem which did not deserve, and you go free. We should applaud the policeman for applying that psychology. That is what saved him.
The thoughts of a psychologist and lecturer, Professor Daniel Bruce, on this trending video that just took over social media by storm over the weekend. And the people have been arrested. One of them is on the run. And hopefully the police, with their intelligence-led operations, will do the right thing and flush the man out of the system. But it just shows you that Galamsey, the effects of this thing, this fight against Galamsey is crazy. It's not just the water and the environment, it's just security, as Dr. Jinde spoke about, and other levels of violence going up, young people going against the system. It's like a breakdown. It's really, really worrying. So yeah, kudos to the police. Let's find out how things will go, and we'll keep our eyes and our ears on the issue. Okay, so before we jump off this issue, I'm going to be speaking right now on the phone to get some more professional insights into this particular issue. My phone is being allergic to me this morning, but you lie. You obey your master. Okay, so on the line, I do have Dr. Victor Doke. He's at the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Good morning, sir. Welcome to GTV Breakfast. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning to you. Can you hear me too?
I can hear you loud and clear. What do you make of this video that has gone around showing this policeman begging for his life and these criminals basically intimidating our security personnel?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. What I make of the video is demeaning, first of all, with the professionalism of the Ghana police. Having seen this, it means there's something wrong with the aspect of training. When we talk about training, we talk about the morals of the Ghana police. With regards to the youth there saying they have paid or given.
Oh, the line seems to be breaking. Can you hear me? You keep going in and out. We'll clear up the line and get back to the good doctor to get his insights on. He was speaking about the training of the Ghana Police Service personnel. So we'll try and clear up that line and then get back to him as soon as possible. Let me run through the headlines while we try and get back, Doctor, on the line. Daily Graphic, we have the headlines being Parliament passing 3 revenue bills. There will be a conversation on that at 8:30. Thelma and her guests will be looking at that. Free SHS policy must focus on skills development, says Professor Isuman. And BPA, as well as Bui Sugar Limited, have set up a one district, one factory. And BPA is the Bui Power Authority. Okay. Ad Guarantor System. MPs against sole use of Ghana card for voter registration, and political analysts and smaller parties agree. Okay. Ghanaian Times. Gangsters attack police. That's our big story. Seize magazine, mobile phones, 4 grabbed. Pictures there of the men with their faces blurred. Speaker declares Kumawu seat vacant upon the passing of the MP last week. I will prioritize party needs, says Dr. Dufour of the NDC. And another story on the 3 newly passed tax bills, which are supposed to rake in 4 billion cedis annually. The Finder. IMF deal. Revenue bills passed. Last hurdle is bilateral. Eurobond creditors agreement. Okay. Talking of police, a good police officer has left the service to head public affairs. Her name is Superintendent Ifya Tenge. Picture of her smiling. The Finder is there for you. Karaga MP Dr. Amin Adam supports 600 women with interest-free loans, and a couple of headlines like that in the news. So those are a couple of headlines that we have here for you. I don't think we're going to be getting back to Dr. Doke anytime soon, so I just want to find out from you, gentlemen, what's on your mind, first of all? I'll start with Dr. Jinde.
On my mind, Parliament. a lot of things went on. It was a very eventful week for Parliament and very interesting. I was watching it, looking at it with the eyes of a journalist.
Okay.
And you see, all the three bills that were passed, the tax bills, initially the minority made us to understand that they were not going to pass that. After they've given us our fair disappointment by approving the president's nominees. They made a whole lot of noise. We are not going to allow it. It's very bloated. And even the minority leader came out boldly that they were prepared to stop it. But when the results came out, I realized that he was not in charge of his own caucus. He lost the plot. And you see, they voted that way because they were, the vote they gave in respect of the ministerial nominees, it was a protest vote.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the genesis before the vote took place, there was a directive from the General Secretary commanding them, directing them to act in a certain manner. These are not school kids. These are members of Parliament representing constituents. So if you are dealing with them, your language should be very polite, decorous, and appealing. But if you just give instructions, you direct, they will do otherwise. So it was a protest vote. And it also shows the rift between the leadership of the party and then the members of Parliament. In one breath, it was a protest vote. In another breath, I also think that they voted according to their conscience, which you all expect anyway. These are the two sides of the argument. So when they failed Ghanaians in that aspect, and they came out again, no, we are not going to pass these three bills. They raised their expectations, gave us a lot of hope. You see, CAF, it's good to give hope, but it is wrong to give, it's not proper to give the false hope to people, which you know that you cannot fulfill. So when it came out that they passed the bill, these three bills again, people started asking, are these people we can trust? I'm not saying that they should have voted against it, because those bills, we needed them to be able to go through the IMF process. They were necessary bills. But if you knew that we were going to approve it, why give us this false hope? It means we are just playing on our minds. And as a result, they will have a very serious problem with credibility when it comes to taking them serious. But you see, the vote they took, it was give and take, because they also want to ensure that their position on the CI, which is yet to be laid, is also taken into consideration. So the MPP said, okay, we'll let you have your input, and then you also give us the three taxes. So it was horse trading. So I would say it was politics of convenience, not conviction. One says, allow me to pass my three tax bills, and then I also give you some leeway when it comes to the new CI that is supposed to be laid before Parliament.
But if you don't give them the leeway, then what happens?
If they did not give the leeway,
the majority breaks the agreement, what happens? What can they do?
They break what agreement?
You say you allow vote, help us pass this bill, and then we do this.
You see, the other side is that even if the majority has said no, when it comes to the CI, the minority could not have done anything, because the requirement is that it has to be laid 21 sitting days, so that if nobody raises any objection, it becomes law. Okay. But if you have any objection, to be able to overturn it, you need to test majority of all members of Parliament. Yeah. It means the NDC will require 48 members of MPP to be able to reverse or stop the CI from taking effect. So it could have been a done deal, but you see, we are in an era where we need to compromise. We need to build consensus, because we need a lot of consensus building. I think that is what informed the minority caucus in Parliament, just to give way. But you see, people are misreporting the whole thing. It is not the CI that has been rejected. What they put before them was a draft. because they wanted Parliament to have an input, so that in the long run, when it comes back to Parliament in the form of the CI proper,
There will be input in it.
there will be input in it.
Okay.
So if you hear journalists saying that CI has been rejected, those journalists, they need some level of education.
And that's why we're happy to have you here, Dr. Jinde.
It was just a draft.
Just a draft.
It was just a draft.
All right.
A draft is not a CI.
One time. Thank you. Thank you for that education. Let me just jump back to the lines to speak to Dr. Doke, and I'll come back to you right here in the studio. You're watching GTV Breakfast. We are just coming back to that hot news about those police officers who were seen in the video really just begging for their lives. It appears that they have some involvement with these guys, these criminals, and 4 arrests have been made. The gang leader is still on the run. What are the implications as far as security and training of police officers is concerned? On the line, security analyst and lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Victor Doke. Can you hear me, Doc?
Yes, sir.
Great stuff. So you were talking about having to look again at the kind of training we give our police officers. Please expand on that point.
Yes, I was talking about that. Now, you look at the recruitment processes right from the beginning and how you can assess these individuals who you want to recruit. Now, you need to factor in the moral aspect also, but it seems that we don't normally do that. And going forward, that's one of the suggestions that they can look at, factoring in moral standards of these individuals by assessing their whereabouts, what they did before, and how they want to now be part of the police service. Now, going to the video now, first of all, the meaning, and it also confirms to most people and most researchers that have come out to say that the police service is somewhat corrupt. Now, how do they redeem their image per this video? You could clearly see the policeman has some engagement prior with these guys, right? Mm-hmm. And now it has gotten to this stage. Now, what really happened? Did he receive any sum before and he wanted more? Those are the questions that needs to be asked. Now they are investigating the matter. Well, I hope they find real answers and real quickly. So going forward, what can we do as a state institution, looking at the police service? Now, how do we ensure that these patrol team members are well equipped enough? They have numbers going on patrol. How many numbers do you need to go on patrol? Looking at the numbers, these guys were outnumbered, and anything could have happened. What if they took the rifle and started to shoot the police? That would have been another case. We are having a situation where the youths are somewhat on rampage with regards to demonstrations and all that. Now, you know the Galamsey area. These guys are also armed. These guys are involved in rituals to protect themselves when going to dig for these minerals. So one has to be careful when dealing with them. But this clearly shows there is somewhat of connection between these gentlemen and the police. And going forward, we need to look at that. How to separate professionalism from personal issues, so we do not have issues of conflict of interest. And then for the police service, their image would be redeemed, because people do not trust the service when it comes to these issues. And the service has been deemed corrupt per findings and then this video evidence.
This cannot be a quick fix, can it?
It can't be it cannot, I agree, but then we need to start from somewhere. Now, these two gentlemen, these police personnel, what will be done to them for us to know? That can start the process of building the standards and morals of the personnel and redeeming the image of the police service when it comes to corruption, has been tapped by researchers all over and findings. So we need to start from somewhere. Start with these two gentlemen and let's see what happens.
How do you think the morale of the good police officers in the system, how will their morale be affected by this?
Well, it's going to be very damning for them. I'm sure wherever they are looking at this, they will say this is what we've been always preaching about. It's going to dampen the spirits of those in the service, those who are having the desire to join the service, and those who are even serving on the Professional Standards Bureau, wanting to address such issues Now, this offers them an opportunity to look at the modalities of formalities in the service that is existing and build more on it. Otherwise, we'll still have the same situation running over again.
Dr. Doke, we'll leave you here. Thank you so much. She's security analyst and a lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, offering his insights on issues of morale and training for officers in the Ghana Police. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What emotions ran through you when you saw this video? Let us know. Send us a WhatsApp message, 055-556-1034. Me, I'm biased towards short and crisp messages. If you send me a thesis, I'll just read the beginning and the end, like a good lecturer does. Talking of lectures, I have two of them here. The Professor Bruce.
Yes.
Yes. You've already had your thoughts on this. If you have anything else you want to add to this, I'll be happy. But I just want to know what's on your mind. Also,
I have two issues on my mind.
All right.
One is we must take a cue from the Bible, because it holds the foundation of what we do now and the consequences thereafter. You see, when King Solomon died, the people of Israel came together and installed his son Rehoboam on the throne. The people were led by Jeroboam, and they went to Rehoboam and said, please, when your father Solomon was a king, he placed so many tasks on us, and we are tired of paying those taxes. Now that you are a young man and you have replaced your father as a king, reduce those taxes so that Israel will be happy with you and your kingship will last longer. He said, okay, I've heard you. So he went to his peers and said, this is what these living ancestors were advising me to do. That my father was charging them so much, so I should reduce the taxes for them. They said, go and tell them, if my father Solomon was charging you 5 cedis per bottle of beer, now that I am a king, Almighty Rehoboam, I will charge you 15 cedis, whether you like it or not. The people say, okay, no, fine. We won't say anything. He went and he sent his commissioner for revenue, Odaram. He went to collect the tax. You know what happened? They stoned him to death. And when Rehoboam heard that his commissioner for internal revenue was stoned to death, he fled from the throne in Jerusalem and ran elsewhere. I'm quoting for 2 Chronicles chapter 10 from verse 1 to 19. It's there. So my question is that, you see, already what is happened to the e-levy? It has been stoned to death already. Because we projected we are going to get about 6 billion or so. We never realized that. Now these 3 new taxes are also coming. I pray that what happened to Rehoboam will not happen to us. Because already the people are saying we are tired. So let this 2 Chronicles chapter 10 from verse 1 to verse 19 be our guide. That when the taxes are so much, it's likely the people may revolt. It's a food for thought for us. Now, I was invited to attend a program in Takwa. So when I was traveling between Takrari and Takwa, I saw to my left, at a point on the journey, a huge, dense, dark green forest of rubber plantation. Yes. And I saw the gutter on the scion of all the trees with a cap placed under it to harvest the white creamy liquid which was oozing out of this scion. So I asked myself, is this the raw material which is used for making car tires and other plastic products? I say yes. So this morning I want to appeal to GPRTU, VIP, Concerned Drivers Union, that they must come together, go to Europe, and bring someone to come and establish car manufacturing tire here in Ghana. Because they use so many cedis to exchange the dollar to import the same thing for the raw material here already. That is my plea to them. If they cannot do so, I think there are some individuals they can approach to help them to establish car manufacturing tire and other plastic products in Ghana. they can approach Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. He is a guru in establishing industries. Mr. Kojo Mpiani is there. Our Honorable Minister of Finance is also there. He is an investment man. And all this. Mr. Alan Chiramaten, they can bring these people together so that we establish a car tire manufacturing company in Ghana. Go to Abuso Okayashi. All the stores in which we see all these tires, the raw material is from Ghana but made in Japan. You never see any written made in Ghana on it. Why are we doing this to ourselves? And we are crying the city dollar is not in our favor, and therefore keep on rising. Because drivers, if they cannot buy the brand new tires, we are in trouble. They will go in for the second-hand ones. When you are speeding, bam, it blasts off. My final appeal is to the Ghana Highways Authority. You see, the toll booths are built in a way that they cannot stand the constant vibration of the speedy cars. Now they are all becoming a dangerous statue. If you don't take time, one of them will collapse this. If you go to Biposu, the old one is there, it's getting rusted or it has rusted, but it's still standing there. The cars are moving, and it's shaking. Before we realize, it will collapse. The new one that they are built, so they should collapse the old one. The one at the motorway here is also showing signs of deterioration. Either they will go and fortify them or demolish them. The Afinia one is an eyesore. The Chopole one is an eyesore. The one going to Windsor one is an eyesore. So if you don't have time to use them anytime soon, please, let's go and collapse them. Otherwise, it may collapse on moving vehicle and we can think of the possible havoc that it will cause.
Thank you very much. So you've talked about taxes, tires, and toll booths.
Yes.
All the T's.
Yeah, you have made it like that.
Thank you very much.
That's a good one.
Dr. Jinde, anything else on your mind? You spoke about the interesting times in Parliament with respect to the voting on the revenue bills. Anything else on your mind that you want to talk about?
I want to add that even if Parliament agrees that the EC should not use the Ghana card as the sole means of identification, the EC can still go ahead and then use that card as the sole means of identification. Wow. Because there's a law backing it. Go to the National Identity Register Regulation 2012, LI 2111. It talks about the mandatory use of the Ghana card. That if you want to open a bank account, the use of the Ghana card is mandatory. You apply for a passport, the use of the Ghana card is mandatory. A driver's license. And if you go to the J, registration of voters. So to me, the Electoral Commission is only enforcing what the law says. Go and read LI 2111.
Who passed this law?
Parliament. So to me, they are turning the law upside down. I'm not saying that in terms, because times have changed, if there's a need to build a consensus so that we could include an exceptional clause that when it comes to the voter registration card, maybe we can make some changes to allow for the guarantor system. But that law has not been amended. It has not been repealed. It has not been changed. So the law says mandatory use of the Ghana card, and then registration of voters is among the list where the mandatory use of the Ghana card is required. So if they want us to make some changes, perhaps we can make some amendment. But as far as the amendment or the changes have not been made, the Ghana card, if you want to acquire it, the use of the if you want to register for to do any voter registration, the Ghana card is mandatory. Kafui, you are the English people. I don't know what mandatory means.
Well, in Ghanaian English, we say by force.
By force, mandatory. So if we are not going to make exceptions for voter registration, now I go to any bank to open a bank account. I say, oh, I don't have any bank account, but I know very famous journalists, Kafui, Telma. So can I call them to come and guarantee for me? Do you think the bank will agree?
They want my Ghana card.
They want your Ghana card. So why should we make exceptions for the voter registration? If we think that there's a need for us to do that, let's amend the law.
Right.
But without that, Parliament itself has turned the law upside down. I teach law, so I'm not saying it's not good for Ghana, but that is the legal position now. But unfortunately, the EC itself has not been able to make this argument that we are implementing what the law requires. They did not make that argument. But me, I'm just an ordinary lecturer. I can only shout and scream in my classroom.
No, you can educate. You can educate, and you're giving us good education. And we are grateful.
So I think they should have a look at
They
it.
should have a look at it. Okay, awesome. Beef. And talking of Parliament, it's in today's Ghanaian Times, and there's a hot conversation that was sparked or reignited with the arrival of the Vice President of the United States last week. So the Parliamentary Committee recommends passage of the LGBTQ plus bill. And this committee is the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, recommending the passage of this bill. The full name is Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2021. They said they have undertaken the hearing of memoranda on the bill and noted that the majority of Ghanaians were in favor of the passage of the bill. They, however, said there were significant human rights concerns which were worthy of consideration pursuant to Article 12(1) of the Constitution, which imposes on all organs of the state the duty to respect and uphold the fundamental human rights enshrined in the 1992 Constitution. So a couple of amendments include a change in the title of the bill to now read Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2021. And a couple of other things. The bill comes on the heels of the beration of the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris by the Speaker of Parliament. He spoke quite strongly about LGBTQ issues. I quote, he said, "I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting freedom and supporting the rights." She said, "I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting freedom and supporting the fighting for equality among all people, and that all people should be treated equally. I also say that this LGBTQ is an issue that we consider to be a human rights issue, and that will not change." But the Speaker, at the second breakfast prayer meeting of Parliamentary Christian Fellowship on the theme Praying for the Nation in Parliament, said Parliament will not be at the beck and call of any external powers. Quoting him, he said, Mr. Speaker said, "What the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, did yesterday should not be tolerated. That is undemocratic. What is democracy? That someone should have to dictate to me what is good and what is bad? And because we have decided to devalue ourselves and go begging? Come on, we have more than enough. God has created more than enough for every person. The bill will be passed," the Speaker assured. Let me give you some highlights of this bill. So it's a 25-clause private members bill. What does a private members bill mean, my lawyer?
You see, initially, until the time of Mike Okoye, all bills should initiate from the executive. But during the time of Professor Mike Okoye, they made the amendment that an individual can also initiate a bill in Parliament. Normally, it was only left to the executives. And if a particular ministry want to introduce a bill, they will do their consultation, go to the Attorney General for advice, then the government will introduce that bill.
Okay.
But now, a private member can also introduce a bill, and this is exactly what the Honorable St. George has done.
All right.
But before Mike Okoye, during the time of Mike Okoye, he couldn't have done that.
Okay.
Because during that time, it was only reserved for the executive to introduce bills. So we are making progress. In our parliamentary democracy.
Indeed. Highlights of this bill. So it will proscribe LGBTQ plus and related activities. It will proscribe propaganda of, advocacy for, or promotion of, now here comes a long one, LGBTQIAAP plus. And the related activities, among others. I need to go and ask ChatGPT exactly what all this stands for. I know some of them, but not all. Among other things, the bill proposes a jail term for people who engage in same-sex activities. If passed, various forms of support for the LGBTQ plus activities will be criminalized, and offenders could face up to 5 years in jail. Now, these are the people who are championing it. It's been championed by Nigo Prampram MP Samuel Nate George and 7 other lawmakers. They are Emmanuel Koshi Bedzra, MP for Ho West, Reverend John Intim Fojo, who is Deputy Minister for Education and MP for Asin South, Al Hassan Sayubu Suyini, MP for Tamale North, Rita Na Odole Soa, MP for La Dadekotopong, Helen Ajwa Ntosu, MP for Karachi West, and Roxanne Nelson Eche Komi Dafamekpo, MP for South Dai. So the House will be expected to debate the report when they return from the Easter break. Okay, we take a break from our in-studio conversations to go to Jay, who is on the motorway, which was referenced not too long ago by Professor Bruce. Jay, where exactly are you on the motorway? What can you report on for us this morning? What are you keeping an eye on? Jay, good morning. Come in. Jay Alafuma.
Thank you so much, Kalfi. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Keep an Eye on #GTV Breakfast. So this morning, we're reporting live from the Accra-Tema motorway, like you rightly said. We decided to take a drive around town this morning and drive in these parts and just take a look at things. So this is one of the fastest connections between Accra and Tema for most commuters who ply this road. Unfortunately, it's fraught with a number of challenges. One of the chief of them, among them being the fact that there are a number of potholes along the stretch. And unfortunately, the highways authorities have tried a number of times to fix these potholes, but unfortunately, the fix just doesn't take. And you realize that for most commuters, when they get to these sections of the road, you'll be going on top speed for a while, and then you get here and suddenly you have to slow down. And you have not careful. That's when you run into another vehicle or you veer off the road completely. Now, some of these potholes are quite deep, and unfortunately, if you're on top speed like that and you go into the pothole, that's when it may even derail your tires completely, and then you go off and veer off into the bush. The motorway as such shouldn't be this dangerous. In fact, fashioned after the Autobahn in Germany, there are a number of issues on the motorway, including the fact that sometimes some vehicles stop on the sides of the road, and that also causes some accidents. Some pedestrians cross indiscriminately. You also find that sometimes you may not know what the driver ahead of you is going to do. And looking at all these challenges that are on the motorway, you'll be surprised that these potholes shouldn't be a part of the situation. And so this morning we are here making an advocacy again to the roads and highways authorities that the developing situation is such that it's getting quite crazy for the vehicles who ply the road over here, and unfortunately they need a fix as soon as possible. Most of the drivers who have driven past us this morning have been remarking on the fact how unsafe the road is. And one of them even jokingly said, okay, I'm not certain if it's a joke or not. He jokingly said the road minister even uses this road on his way to work. If that's the case, then once again, we'd just like to appeal to Honorable Mr. Kwesi Anwakwata that he comes and help alleviate the plight of road commuters who are coming from Tema and heading towards Accra. The situation is quite untenable for them. And the thing is to find a permanent fix for the situation, because you realize the motorway was done with concrete when it was first constructed back in the day. But I believe anytime they try to fix the potholes, they use asphalt, and it just doesn't fit in with the original concrete. And that's when you realize that it causes this wear and tear. And even the patches you see at the moment, there are a few of them, you realize it's also sinking in. And you know that in due course, when the rainy season starts, when it starts raining excessively, those patches are also going to go off completely. It's the motorway. It shouldn't be. Once again, the motorway shouldn't be this dangerous. And if we can alleviate the situation for road commuters, then we should do that as quickly as possible, and not wait for something dire to happen, and then we come and say, oh, we should have fixed these potholes, because these potholes you see function as death traps. So once you fall into it, once you're not careful, you veer off the road, you run into another vehicle, you lose your life. And we have to think about all the families who lose loved ones on the Accra-Tema motorway. We want a situation when you hear about the motorway, it should be good things, not the fact that something terrible, an accident or something terrible of the sort has happened. So once again, we just like to appeal to the roads and highways authorities to come and find a permanent solution to the recurring potholes on the Accra-Tema motorway. There's a report for you we have for you via the Accra-Tema motorway. Back to you, studio.
Nagode. I want to say it in Mo. Thank you. Janjam. Love it. And then in Gonja, for my Bamboy people, what would you say? Thank you.
I forgot.
Asankashun.
I forgot.
Let me know how to say thank you in Gonja. I think it's Asankashun. I think so. Yes. All right. Thank you. Let's go. Messages. More messages coming in. 055-556-1034. Let's go. 7:30. Good morning to you. The police, as an institution, was established to maintain peace and order and to protect lives and property with their traditional communities. We, the young adults and other age groups, must do anything possible to protect the integrity of the police by not attacking them in any form because they've been established to serve our interests, but not their interests. Aaron, Sebali, 7% of government revenue is used to pay debts and later becomes a burden on government to manage other government's development projects. You're talking about the 3 new revenue bills, and you think they are a step in the right direction. Musa, why do you, and your views are, why do you think, you say, why is President Akufo-Addo behaving as if Americans are looking for weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? And you say, God save Ghana. We're not trying to deny any society human rights, and we won't accept any society inflicting our religious and ethnic beliefs in the quest for human rights. All right. Remember, messages are your responsibility. This is a new form of terrorism. The earlier the government begins to restructure internal security issues, the better. Ajra Henkel, yes, talking about those 4 police officers. Those 4 criminals who attacking the police have been arrested. Good morning. You believe the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic is the worst so far? You think they don't care about what their constituents or Ghanaians want? And you think you urge them to be prudent and do the needful because Ghana deserves better. Manyo Takman, Accra. Well, you're sending out happy birthday greetings to Dr. Kwabna Sapon of Cape Coast. May the Lord keep his light on him and all the time. Chom Jimmy Ebo Grant, Tadi, Mr. Bote. You want us to bring some education on the dangers of anal sex? Okay, we need the doctors now. George Kaswa. Okay, there are health issues there. Patrick, you think it's an old video? The gangmen were more than the police, so the policemen could not stand them, so they had to surrender and go back to their station and prepare for proper arrest. When the police went to arrest him, they didn't meet the one who recorded the video, but arrested the rest. When the guy arrived home, he also decided to release the video to tarnish the policeman's integrity after knowing that he's a wanted person. I think that's the best way anyone could do to save his life and prepare for a proper arrest. Okay. All right. You seem to know a lot. Please report yourself to the police. We must understand that the voting in Parliament is won by numbers. Stop blaming the minority. Yeah, they did 136 votes. It was 136 versus 137. The majority won that one. It's numbers. Salma. Good morning, able panelists. It's scary the way security personnel are being attacked. What is most scary is how they are attacked in their uniforms. Wow. We earnestly have to look at the police academy. We need to flush out all the greedy, extorting officers before they are graduated out of the system. Bash Gumbo. As a matter of fact, after watching the video, I felt very bad. What could the police officer have done under such a dehumanizing circumstance? And you think our economic woes continue on the passage of the 3 revenue bills. That conversation happens right after this. More. Training of police officers meets international standards. It's the bad human attitude and greed. That's what the IGP should work on. If we enlist into the security service agencies on political lines, this is what we shall harvest. That's your interpretation. The encounter between the police and those guys is not anything new in Western region, especially at Asankragwa, Wasa, or Kopong. The police officers always go to the Galamsey site every time to collect money. Wow. That's a serious allegation there. They're acting almost like pseudo-revenue collectors. That's serious. We need to have people check at that. The police must come clear on the allegations of extorting money from those who rogue Galamseyers. Hope there'll be no cover-ups. Alrighty. Okay. Someone is in a happy mood, giving us emojis. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Thank God it's Monday. Akazabre. You think the video is a propaganda video and not else. You don't want to believe that the gun the policeman was holding had no bullet in it. Looking at the confidence level of the attackers, you don't need any advice from anybody. You strongly believe that they are film actors and not Galamsey operators. Really? They want to say that the government has lost control over the Galamsey fight, so no security agent should come to them. All right, you are being quite sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek, family tongue-in-cheek. You think arrogance and disrespect of functionaries of this government is what is putting us in all our problems. You told this was going to move from taxation to production. What happened to that mantra? Says Alaji Hamza, Pig Farm. Ishmael. The police institution is embedded in a way with so many men without integrity. And the earlier they work on the images, the better. My boy, who has just completed university, was in my car when he was in JHS and saw a policeman demanding some money from me. And since then, my son has developed some dislike, in quotes, for the police as an institution, as he keeps on seeing them collecting money openly from the drivers. We saw the vibrancy of the new IGP when he assumed office, but the vigor is dying. The earlier he restates himself, the better. Obo Sika, love your name. Morning. About the Galamsey issue, please open the video below and see it's bad. Here at Bama Camp, God have mercy. Oh, really? Okay. This is water. Okay, water that there's not. It's dirty water flowing from the taps, I guess. All right. It's too much data. Okay, but I get your point. Thank you. Voila. Infiltration of unpatriotic and greedy persons into our sector is making it hard for the enforcement of the laws. The reason why the Galamsey guys are becoming powerful in our community, they have the support of some of the chiefs and political powers. I don't support what the Galamsey boy guys did to the policeman. PK from Walla Fashe. Please, tell the lecturer who's supporting the sole use of the Ghana card to think about those of us who have been following the card for more than 6 months without getting it. What is a law when it punishes the innocent? So sad. All right? So he thinks that you should also think about those who haven't got the card yet. Please, with the toll booths, come back. Will the toll booths come back after being destroyed? Which monies are going to be used to repair them again? Says Bibi. IGP has done a lot to change the face of Ghana Police Service. However, it's incumbent on the police officers to live up to expectation of the Ghanaian people. From Abdullahi Abdul Razak in Tamale, Titi's town. That video is sad to say the least. It casts a huge slur on the whole police institution. Earlier, we streamlined the recruitment process. The better it will be for Mother Ghana and posterity. Good morning, Captain. Edinkra from Imprayeso. Gilbert Dunu. I love your name. Dunu means eat. It's a command in Ever. Dunu, eat. Our MPs should concentrate on development issues and address the corruption in society. What consenting adults do in private does not require legislation, says Yao in Accra. Fred says, good morning, enjoying the show, particularly the humility with which Professor Bruce presents his analysis. He was my psych lecturer at MUCG. He's been my man. Greetings to him this morning. One of your old students, Professor Bruce.
Okay.
As for the issues on attack of the police at Axim Galamsey site, I'm not sure the story is complete. There could be more to it. I urge the police admin to try and get every detail. Please get an investigative journalist to fish out the closet homosexuals amongst the other ones, the ones vehemently spewing hate against gays. You will find out that most are hiding in their closet and doing foolish things. Why is everyone just thinking about sex? No one chooses to be homosexual, says FC. Alhaji Dawuda. Draft bills for taxes. Congratulations to customs for exceeding their revenue targets for the year 2022. Thanks for knowledge sharing on the media bills in Parliament by our lawyer journalists on the show. Thank you very much. Kudos to you, Dr. Jinde, the man who wears so many hats. Yeah, I love it. Ghana, oh say yeah. And everybody said, oh, where are the Ghanaians? Yeah, Ghana, oh. Yeah, Ghana, oh. Yeah. I like the thing, man. So, our future. Hey, Charlie. Good morning, CAF. Let's tell the Akufo-Addo government to use the electoral polls on this LGBTQI plus for a yes or no voting to determine what the citizens want to stop pushing all this togbe into our throats. Okay. Nobody wants to eat togbe when they don't want to eat togbe. I think the police need better training. Yep, that's it. Mask says, good morning, CAF and panelists. I think the police service must have a system that would test their loyalty before graduation. Alhaji Hamza has come back again. My brother, the way you rush in reading the messages doesn't make sense to the public. Oh, really? Just listening to you now, I read my message to the end, but trust me, I did not even hear a word from you. What I keep on hearing is brah. My brother, Ghana is hard, so we are spending our credits to contribute to the problem. Please, we love you in the program. Don't disappoint us, my brother. Alhaji Hamza, Pig Farm. Salaam alaikum, Alhaji. That's all I can say. Thank you for the feedback. And we are done. All the messages are done, and we are out of time. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Dr. Kweku Anani Jinde and Professor Daniel Bruce for your insights. I'm going to clear my throat now and sing a song. Just 2 minutes. And And it's for all those who went to Fancy Secondary School. Okay, so they are 147 years this year. So this is their school song. For all the saints who from their labors rest, who thee by faith before the world confessed, thy name, O Jesus, be forever blessed. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shout out to all the Kwabuchi guys, man. Enjoy your 147 years of existence as a school. More years to you. We've got conversations on revenue, taxes, money, Kudi, Chobo, cash, l'argent, everything. It's happening here with Thelma. Don't go anywhere.